Ever wonder how to know when your garlic is ready to harvest? Today I'll be digging in, literally, and show you exactly when to pull it, how to do it right, and how to cure your garlic so it'll last for months. Let's get our hands dirty. All right. So today's a big day. It's probably one of the highlights of the growing season for me. It's pulling the garlic. Now, some of the telltale tips to know when it's the right time to do that is you'll see how some of the leaves at the bottom are dried out. There's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are dry. This one's on its way out. I wait till about, I don't know, maybe half of the leaves are dry, and then that the tips are also showing signs of dryness. And this will depend, based on the type of garlic that you're growing and your conditions and whatnot. But usually for me, it's about 3 to 4 weeks after I cut the scapes off. I grow hardneck garlic. And then it's a matter of, don't yank it when you're pulling it, because you risk damaging the stalk and the bulb underneath. Now, normally I have, let me go grab that. I usually have like just a little trowel just to loosen up the soil around it. But if the soil is fluffy enough, you could just use your hands. What you don't want to do, and some people use forks or things like that, and you just want to go under and try to loosen the bulb. I've always been successful just doing it by hand. So I'm going to put this over here for now. And then just give it a whack. They're deeper than you think they are. See, I knew this one was going to be a small one, but that's okay. There's going to be small ones. I'm expecting, and you can tell, like this one's going to be larger just by the thickness of the stalk. That'll be small. That'll be small. This will be large. Still tastes good though. All right. So after we're going to do a few together, and then I'll just go around and harvest everything and show you the spider web there. Sorry, dude, you're going to be disturbed today. And I'll show you what the harvest looks like at the end. But I did want to talk about, while I'm doing this, I did want to talk about what we do, or what I do after I harvest them, to cure them. If that's essentially just a fancy word for drying, so that they last a really long time. Like I've harvested garlic in July, and I've been still eating it. Like we get through it May, June the following year, and that's because I cured it and dried it and just stored it in the right conditions. So to cure your garlic, it's basically drying it. You can either hang it, which is one of the popular methods. I lay it down on drying racks, same racks that I use for cookie sheets, nothing fancy, in a warm, dry place that's shaded. You don't need to put it, bear with me. I mean, if you have the space to hang it, by all means do so, but they're perfectly okay on a drying rack. That one's another small one, that's okay. Also, I should mention that the garlic that I'm growing is Russian red, hardneck garlic, does really good in cooler climates. All right, back to curing. So what you want to do is, the goal of curing is to make sure that the stalk and the skins are dry. That's just going to prolong the storage life of your garlic. After you harvest your garlic, don't wash it. Don't wet it. What you're trying to do is make it dry, not more wet, and that can just encourage mold and dampness, which is what you're trying to avoid. And you're trying to dry your garlic, not wet it. So if there's soil on it, this one is going to be larger, I think. If there's soil on it, just brush it off, tap it. You don't need to wet it. And you're going to dry it with all of this on, with the roots, with the stalk. You're just going to either hang it or lay it on a rack in one layer, leave all the skins on. All of this is going to dry off. It usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks to do that. And you'll see, like, even though All of this is going to dry. All of this is going to turn brown. This is going to become crisp. The skins are going to become crispy, and you'll see it. And it could take 2 weeks. It could take 4. It depends on your garlic. It depends on the conditions of the place that you're storing them. After that period, like once they're ready, once they're cured, after that 2 to 4 weeks, I'm concentrating, guys. After that 2 to 4 weeks, what you'll do here, let me grab another one. What you're going to do is cut off all the roots, and then like take off the rest of the earth, the soil that's still there. Cut off the necks, brush off any soil that's still on it, and then just store them in a cool, dry place. And that's it. And they will last for months, literally. It's fantastic. I'm really excited. This is the first garlic planting that we've been able to do at the new house. So today is a big day. All right, I'm going to go through and harvest the rest. I'll show you what we come up with at the end, and I'll see you in a bit. All right, here we are. All the garlic has been pulled. It's smaller than I was hoping for, but you know what? Having fresh garlic, it still tastes as good. It still tastes as good, so I'm still happy. I've got about 50 some odd garlic bulbs in here, and then I'm going to take them inside and lay them out on some drying racks. The other thing I wanted to mention was that you can eat these. You don't have to cure them before you can eat them. You can have fresh garlic. So for some of the really small ones, I'm not going to cure them. I'm just going to, clean them up. Don't wet them. I'm just going to brush them off, clean them up a little bit, and put them in my pantry, and we're going to start using those. The larger ones, you'll want to keep the larger ones to plant in the fall. But otherwise, I'm settling in for 2 to 4 weeks of drying my garlic. All right, so I have set up 2 drying racks, and these are just racks that I got probably from a kitchen supply place. I use them to dry cookies on, but they work perfectly for this because they're elevated, so they allow that extra airflow. And I set this up in my laundry room mainly because it doesn't get direct sunlight. It never gets, too hot, too cold, and I can close the door so that the cats, we have 2 cats, that they can't mess with it because they have been known to play, with the fronds and stuff. So like I need a spot that that's pretty, out of the light. I've always cured my garlic in a warm, like a room temperature warm spot. Too hot and it risks, cooking the bulbs, which we don't want. And too cold, there's the risk of dampness and humidity. So I've always kind of done it in a room temp, leaning more towards a warmer area versus a cold, just because, just to battle the humidity and the dampness. I store them, once they're cured, I'll store them in a cool, dry place. But for the curing process, I've always done it in either room temp or, erring on the side of warm, not hot, warm versus too cold, just for the dampness. And that it probably depends on where you live as well. So all I've done is I've laid them out, I've staggered them. So I have 1 row, and then I've staggered the second row. And you just want to be able to, there's got to be some airflow. You don't want them to be suffocating in there. And then I'll check in on them every few days. Word of warning, it will be fragrant in the room where you're storing them. So if you're opposed to things smelling like garlic, just be aware that it's going to smell like garlic. But you're growing garlic, so you like garlic. So that might not be a bad thing. I don't mind it. I obviously don't want all of my, all of my stuff to smell like garlic, but we don't store anything in here, in my laundry room, so it'll be fine. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll just keep an eye on them, check on them, and over the course of the next 2 to 4 weeks, I'm going to notice that all of the green is going to start to turn brown. The soil is going to dry off, and you'll be able to brush them off once it's ready. And then you'll see that the skins will start to be papery. Like right now, I can feel that they're still moist. They're still humid. but over the course of the curing process, these will become more papery. And that's what we want. If you learned anything, or if you're in the process of or just about to harvest your own garlic, drop a comment. I'd love to hear how your garlic harvest is doing. And happy gardening, everybody.